Hello and welcome back to Dulce Aroma. My name is Manuela and we are filming you this video from New Zealand. For today's video we're going to be making this gorgeous lavender swirl soap. If you haven't made a swirl soap before, this is a really good introduction to swirling, and the recipe that we are using today is a very light mixture. The oils that we're using are not solid at room temperature, or not many are solid at room temperature, which makes the soap very flowy and very hydrating as well. So this is one that I definitely recommend that you try. We wanted to keep a purple color scheme just to go with the lavender fragrance, but of course you can choose the colors that you are wanting to use and customize it, completely up to you. And this is what we're trying. The only thing I recommend for the colors that you choose is that you choose colors with high contrast, just because colors can get lost otherwise due to the swirl. They can mix together and you can lose some of the details, so make sure that they are contrasting. As you can see, every face of these soap blocks has a completely different pattern, which is really gorgeous. It's definitely the kind of soap that each slice is a unique piece, and we are just so happy with how it turned out. Like I said before, the batch is a little bit smaller, but that was definitely our choice. We wanted to make a smaller, compact, square-sized blocks instead of the standard rectangular-sized soap bars that we usually make. Okay, before we get started, I just wanted to bring to your attention that safety equipment must be used in any saponification process. You must have plenty of ventilation, a face mask, gloves and safety glasses, as the lye mix that we use is very alkaline and can be harmful if it comes in contact with our skin or our eyes. So it's always best to follow the safety instructions of all of the ingredients that we use, and to also be really cautious with the safety equipment that we have. Cold process or hot process soap making is really fun. It's a beautiful thing to do, and it's a very relaxing thing to do, but you just have to make sure that you do it safely. Okay, so here we are weighing up our distilled water and our sodium hydroxide crystals. You have to add the crystals to the water, not the other way around. Give them a good stir and then wait for them to get to their maximum temperature, and then it will cool down. We want it to cool down to about 40 degrees Celsius, so set that aside. So here is the mold that we are using today. So as you can see, this is a square bamboo box that is not actually originally for soap making, but we will be lining it in baking paper and using it. The other thing that we're going to be needing is the base of a plastic bottle. So this one was a water bottle. I think the size of it is about 600 milliliters. So we're going to be cutting the bottom off it with a Stanley knife. And we will be using this as we pour the colors in, so that they come out with a more of a floral-like formation. If you're using a bigger mold, make sure to use a base from a bigger plastic bottle. Alright, so now I have all of the ingredients prepped and ready. I have my mold with the baking paper lining. I have my mica colors, which I have already dissolved in a bit of oil. I want the colors to be really well mixed into the mixture, so that's why I have diluted them into oil already. I have my jugs ready for the different colors, fragrance, spatulas, mixing bowl. We are also adding a gorgeous Brazilian purple clay to add the purple mix as well, just for added nutrients. This is what the clay looks like. I believe the clay is called kaolin clay. And yes, like I said before, it originates from Brazil. Make sure that you have a thermometer with you, a stick blender or a mixer. Here we have our lye solution and all of our oils prepped and ready. If you're wanting your soap to be very white without having to add white powder, I recommend that instead of using extra virgin olive oil, you go for a refined olive oil, as the appearance will be very white. However, today we chose to use extra virgin olive oil, so we are going to be needing to add a white colorant just to make sure that the colors pop. When we pour our lye solution, we make sure to use a sieve and to pour it over the spatula to ensure that there are no crystals going through into our soap mix, and also the spatula just makes sure that there's minimal bubbles that occur when the lye solution meets the oils. So to start the saponification reaction, we mix it by hand and then we move to our stick blender. For this project, we are wanting our soap mix to be very liquid so that we can pour it easily and so everything flows and we can make the beautiful swirls. To do that, and especially because this is a smaller batch, make sure to not overmix it. Okay, now we're adding a white colorant to the overall mix. Like I said before, we're doing this before we add any of the other colors just to make sure that the colors are much brighter. You can also do this by using refined olive oil, as I said before. Here we're adding this gorgeous lavender essential oil, and it is so rich and so lovely. Now we're separating our batch into the different jugs that we will be using to pour our mix in. If you are wanting equal amounts of each color, make sure that you weigh the main batch and then calculate the exact amounts that you want in each jug. We are just eyeballing it here as we don't mind it looking a little bit rustic. Okay, now we're going to be adding the mica colorant to each of our jugs. So what we did was we added the 15 grams approximately of the mica powder into a little cup, put a couple teaspoons of the original oil mix before we had put the lye into it, and gave it a stir just to dissolve the color. So that's what we did here, and that's why the color is in liquid form. I definitely recommend that. It makes the process much faster for you. And another reason why I think that it's a really good thing to do is because if you add the powder straight into your mixture, sometimes your mixture is left with some speckles. That can be a desired look, and I feel like it can look really gorgeous. If you look at, for example, our Sexy Wild Man soap, we did that intentionally as we wanted it to look like I said, a little bit more handmade and wild. I think that definitely works well, but it's always good to know what you're doing and why things happen. So that, yeah, that definitely is one of the reasons why things can be a little bit more speckly. So just if you don't mix your pigments in very well with the oil. The next color that we're using is black. An alternative for black mica powder, of course, is activated charcoal. Activated charcoal has lots of beautiful properties for the skin, so it is a great alternative. However, the color is not very solid black. It's more of a dark grey, so that's just something to bear in mind. Here we'll use activated charcoal, and then for the last color we're adding extra of the whitening powder. Now that we have all of our jugs ready and prepped with fragrance and colouring, we will start pouring it into our mould. It's good to come up with a pattern of how you want the colours laid out, exactly which colour in what order, and to follow that pattern. Here we changed it a little bit midway through. So here, as you can see, it changes a little bit in our one. We were just distracted with the video and everything, but I definitely think it would be better to make sure that you stick to the same pattern just to keep it consistent. Although we use so many layers in the soap that the reality is it's not going to be very noticeable if you accidentally put the colors in a different order. It'll be totally fine. The soap will still look really beautiful. So one thing, as you can see, because of the little plastic bottle base, it's creating like a petal formation, which I think looks really gorgeous. If you don't have access to a plastic bottle like this, or you're not wanting to use plastic in your project, you can totally opt out and just do circular shapes throughout the mold, and that works the same. It's also really gorgeous, but this just makes things a little bit faster. We chose to make very small layers, so as you can see, each drop that we put in is quite small, so it took us quite a while to fill up this mold. So you definitely have to have patience when making this design. You'll notice as you fill up the mold that the plastic base of the bottle will start jumping around, moving around a little bit. That's totally fine. If you have a chopstick or a skewer or anything like that, you can set it back into place and fix it there. That's something that will happen, but you'll be able to fix that afterwards as well. Just make sure to keep going, and the colors will definitely cover it. It will be absolutely fine. As you can see, we are now taking the plastic base of the bottle out of our mold using a chopstick. And we still have some of the soap mixture left in some of our jugs, so we will be pouring that in the middle just to make an extra pattern. And we will be using our chopstick just to move the colours around and to swirl some of the colours. This is the completed look of the soap. We are so happy with it. It looks so lovely. And now we're going to cover it up. This time we will be using plastic wrap or cling film on our soap mold and holding it there with some little pegs. We will be wrapping our mold up in a towel and setting it aside for 24 hours to set so that it is ready for cutting the following day. Make sure that you wrap up your soap and keep it warm and insulated so that the cooling process is slow, and that will just make sure that the soap goes through gel phase and the colors will just look really gorgeous. Okay, so now this is the day after, and as you can see, the colors are a little bit more pastel. Because this is not a soap mold originally, it is a little box that we have, and we've filled it up with paper, with baking paper. The edges will not be perfect, but that's okay because we will get a knife and we will make the edges straighter. So this is definitely something to expect if you are making a DIY mold at home, or if you're using something around the house with a bit of baking paper. You will probably have to fix it afterwards with a knife. We haven't made many soaps with swirls, and I do always really enjoy it. I think it just looks so fun, very eye-catching, and very impressive. So now we're fixing up all of the edges of the soap, but don't throw the edges of your soap away. If you have any scraps left over, please collect them up. You can always reuse them. You can make liquid soap out of them, or you can make laundry detergent. If you're wanting to learn how to make laundry detergent, go to our channel. We've just uploaded a video on how to turn your old soap scraps into laundry detergent for your clothes. It's super easy. It's a wonderful eco-friendly thing to do, especially because we as soap makers invest a lot of money into amazing good quality ingredients, and it's always good to make sure that we make the most of them and not waste anything. I'm just going to show you the cross section of the soap. It is so cool. I love the swirls. You can really see the layers now. It almost looks like the rings of a tree. I just think it's so cool. And the colours look so amazing together. Like I say, definitely use contrasting colours, but again, you don't have to use purple like we have. We've also done this with neon soaps as well, and I think it just looks, neon soap colours can look really beautiful. I've seen some really wonderful swirl projects online with a really gorgeous combination of contrasting colours. So as this soap is a cold saponification process, the soap will be needed to cure. You will need to set the soap aside between 4 to 6 weeks to cure, as it is a cold process soap. We need to make sure that the pH is suitable for our skin, and to make sure that all the water that is needed to evaporate has evaporated before use. So you will definitely want to wait for this one. It'll be lovely to use. Thank you so much for watching our video today. My name is Manuela and I made this video with my mum. My mum and I make all of the videos here on our YouTube channel. She does the voice of the Spanish ones and I do the voice of the English ones. If there are any particular projects that you're wanting to see, please let us know in the comments below. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up. That means a lot to us. And if you would like to see more of us, hit the subscribe button. We upload videos weekly and I will definitely try my best to make sure that we have a Spanish and an English video uploaded every week. It can be a lot of work to edit them, so that's why there's sometimes some delays. But thank you so much for everyone for giving us your time. We really appreciate it and we wish you all the best in your soap projects. If you're interested in finding out more about soap making, maybe more advanced things, crafting your own recipes, or more difficult techniques, we recommend that you check out the Art by Chela courses online. Most of them are in Spanish, but she does offer a few in English as well. We've tried a couple that we absolutely love. This is not a sponsored message. We really think that they're great and definitely worth your while. Marcela, who runs the courses, is a professional soap maker and is a good place to start out if you are looking at becoming more of a professional soap maker as well.